Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Playing Chapter 3, Master Ninja Mode. Ninja Gaiden 2. Okay. Chapter 3 is not as hard as the first two chapters were. We got a little bit more upgrades, so that definitely helps out a lot. Now, when the fight starts, I go over to that place that I was just at, and I summon some bats. That way I can have some essence out so I can start charging ETs and UTs up. And you should be able to get a UT off on these guys. These are new enemies. These are called Vangels. And basically what you want to do is just keep doing ETs and UTs whenever you can. There are a lot of them out. I don't really have too much to say on most of these fights because they're basically, the same as what the first two chapters are, the same strategies. So I'll try to maybe elaborate on a few things whenever I can. But I want to talk about the chests in the game. There's certain chests that are dynamic chests, and they can give you different things. For example, if you have a chest that contains a grain of spiritual life, or I think that's what it's called, grain of spiritual life or whatever. But if you're maxed out on health and you have maxed out grains in your inventory, then it will give you the equivalent in essence of what one would cost in the shop. And I think they're 7,000, so it would give you 7,000 essence out of that chest. Or if you're maxed out on your grains in your inventory and your health is low, then it'll give you blue orbs. Same for the devil way mushrooms and all that good stuff. And I'll try to go over like where they're located at and ways that you can manipulate to get essence to drop. So I think these guys may be almost done. Yeah, there's a long gauntlet of enemies before you can even get to a save area. So it's I know I said that it was chapter 3 is a little easier than the first two chapters, but it's still a task trying to make it to the first save area on this. As you see, I was very low on health. I probably could have done this a little better, but I just went ahead and went through it. And you can go to Maramoss's shop if you need to. I was just kind of looking around. I think I've got turned around a little bit. Okay. Now that chest right there contains red Nimpo, or red essence for your Nimpo, and I don't pick it up because I'm full on my Nimpo. You can also bring those bats out, to give you some health. I don't think you can drag the essence over to you from where you're at to start the next fight. And then you get new Nimpo from that dead body. It's the Wind Blades, which is really good for these IS ninjas. You can charge a UT here, a 360 UT, and most of the time you can take at least one of them out and maybe dealing the other. And you want to get them to come in this little corridor here, keep the archers from attacking you. And if you go out too far, it despawns the archers. I think that's what happened to me. Yeah, see, the Wind Blades does wonders on these guys. Okay, now that I've used all of my Nimpo, I'm going back and picking up all the red essence out of this chest. And I think this is at the point where I despawn the archers, which was fine with me because those guys are a pain in the ass. There's a chest here that has blue essence. Now, as soon as you get right to this point, jump off, because that spawns the next fight, and then just run back to where you was previously at and start charging a UT. And you can see the ice ninjas coming down the stairs. That's one disadvantage that they have, is they can't jump off the ledge. They have to walk down steps or whatever is there. So that helps you out, you know, be able to get a charge an ET or UT, and there's two more that'll come down. Move the camera around so I could see them. Usually if they're in their running stance, they won't throw any incendiary shurikens at you. When you see them start doing backflips and things like that, that's when they're getting ready to tag you. Okay, let's switch back to my Inferno Nympho. You can see the archers getting ready to attack me. As soon as you get up here, try to use your Nympho, and most of the time you'll take two of those archers out. And a good strategy for the archers is use the arrows and shoot one to stun it, and then do an on-landing ET with the bow. What I was trying to do there was I was trying to do a 360 charge there, ET charge, and it didn't work out for me. So what I normally do is after if I start the fight, then I jump down and try to take out the mages, because the mages will instantly come down where you're at. And of course the IS ninjas, they have to run down the steps. And ideally you want to take out the mages first and then deal with the IS ninjas. But it didn't work out for me, like most things don't. So, and here I'm just doing a poor job about taking care of them incinerate shurikens that are on me. If I wouldn't have done a guillotine throw right there at the last part, I wouldn't have made it. I would have died. Now, I was looking for the crystal skull, which I've already got it. It's right there in that catwalk thing. Okay, now after all those are taken out, then you get to your first save area in the game. So it can be pretty tough. I sped this next part up because the only thing that you're doing is just dodging the best you can and jumping and shooting those flying demons. It was kind of boring, so I figured no one would actually want to sit here the whole time and watch that, because I can't remember how long it went on. But so basically on this fight, you just want to keep jumping and shooting blindly. Most of the time, if you keep the camera away from the enemies, they're less aggressive, but I don't think it works on these guys. So you just want to keep shooting them and maybe charge an ET or UT up whenever you can. And be careful and don't go too far to the left where the pipe's at, where you walk across it, because if you do, it'll spawn the next fight. And I am almost certain that it will spawn with those guys out too, and there's like I think maybe 5 or 6 archers. But once you go over there to that pipe, then run over here to this wall, and you can inch forward just a little bit and you should be able to take the archers out without them hurting you. I think there is one more that's over to the left. He's being a little sneaky. But if you're not sure about him, then just kind of inch forward little by little. See, there he was. He was hiding on me, because they will just tear your health up big time. And you got an infinitive supply arrows there from that dead body. I go back and save it because I knew that I'd done pretty good on that one. Okay, now in this next fight you'll have mages. Whatever you do, get on that ladder and hold block to drop down, and do hold Y. Because if you try to walk down the ladder, then 9 times out of 10 that mage will grab you. And if you keep the camera away from these guys, they are less aggressive. And you can charge ET and UT bows, or the bow and arrow, and it works wonders on this. But I didn't get to perform it on this. They were doing different patterns and stuff. I know that is the last guy, and I think this is a dynamic chest. So if you have all your devil wave mushrooms and you have all your Nimpo, then it'll give you the equivalent of in yellow essence of what one would cost in Mary Moss's shop, which I think there are 6,000. I'm going to drop down here, and there's a bunch of ice ninjas here, and sometimes you can start the fight with the ET or UT like I just did there, and get a few of them. Or then just ET and UT 360Y with the Slinger Staff. Yeah, if you feel like that you can't get to an enemy, if you get tagged by an IS, do like a guillotine throw or something, just block, because if you start moving around, it takes a lot more health off of you whenever it explodes. You can skip these fights if you want, but if you do, you're missing out on that Devil Way Mushroom and the Grains of Spiritual Life, which that's what I'm after right now. I was low health, and I was like, I'm not using any healing items, you know, I can do this. And luckily I killed both of them there. This is also a dynamic chest. I sped this part up. I'll backtrack to the save areas. Now we're moving on. So what you want to do is jump on the pipe and make your way over to the other side. And there are archers over here. And as soon as you land, there should be one that spawns. Sometimes you can pull off an ET. And other times, you know, you can't. It's just according to how close he is to you. And then there should be another one come up on you. And I was trying to get some blue essence, or at least red essence. And you got to be careful because there is an archer in the back shooting his arrows at you. And since I got that lucky drop with the Nimpo, I was like, okay, we went ahead and use it. Because I mean, look, I'm just that low, but I was trying to refrain from using any healing items because there's a save area there, and it would restore my health. So. And that chest, I'm pretty sure, will contain either bats or yellow essence. So, what you want to do is you want to just keep on until you get the yellow essence. Because the bats, they'll just chip away your health pretty easy. It's the giant bats. Okay, we got more ice ninjas. The area's opened up a little bit more, so they're not too difficult, but most of the time I do like to having like a walled in area. That way I can do more guillotine throws. Because you can see I was trying to do that, but it just wasn't working out for me. Like sometimes I can do them really easy, and then other times it's I don't know. It just seems like it doesn't connect at all. And I thought I was finished there, and I saw that one sneaking up on me. And luckily, I was able to deal with him. I'm not sure if that one is a dynamic chest. I didn't know too much about those, and I've watched other YouTubers who beat the game, and I learned from watching their videos. Okay, now this next fight, you'll see a golden Van Gelf. As soon as the cutscene ends, immediately dodge out of the way, because he will pounce on you, and it's game over. I switched to the claws because they have a really cool move. You push forward and Y. Most of the time it will be limb Van Gelfs, and it's got a really good connection rate. Put more of the same on this fight. Charge ETs and UTs up. But what I was talking about earlier about the dynamic chest, I used 2 different guides. One of them, I think his name was Remy's guide. Like his channel is like Master Ninja Guide, if I'm not mistaken, and he helped me a lot. And then another guy, his name is Vic Benedict. I watched some of his stuff too, and that's where I got most of my strategies from, was those 2 guides. So you know, I thank them a whole lot. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know, just learning from other people, you know, coming up with your own strategies, adapting from them, and you know, just trying to make yourself better, and then maybe pass it along to someone else, and maybe they have something that they can teach you that you didn't know about. You know, it's all about keeping an open mind, because nobody's the best at everything. Okay, that seems like that was the last one. We drop down, and there's a save area here, and more Van Gelf fights. Some of these, like the fights with the Van Gelfs, like if you're just trying to do a regular combo against them, they can literally knock you out of it or grab you out of it. It doesn't matter like exactly what you're doing. Like if you can't like stun lock them, you know, they'll just grab you out of it, which I think is kind of BS. But you know, I guess that's the way it goes. So that's why I always try to do ETs and UTs. I know it's kind of boring and not like flashy or anything, but you get more money by doing ETs and UTs. So, and when you're playing higher difficulties like Master Ninja, you know, you've got to make sure that you get enough money, you know, to keep up with everything, especially if you do Test of Valors, because, you know, you'll end up using just about all of your items on that, and then you're going to have enough to replenish all those items too. And I get confused here. I'm like, where am I supposed to go? Because like I said before, you know, in the other chapters, I hadn't played this in a very long time, so I was getting confused on exactly where I was needing to go. And this is your first Jewel of Demon Seal, and that's upgrades one of your Nimpos. And I choose to use the Wind Blades. That's what I would recommend using first. You can see I still got my Lives of 1,000 Gods. I kept it. I hanged on to it as much as I could, because that's one of those items that you know, you can't buy from Maramasa. Yeah, I just kept getting confused in this part. I was like, you know, trying to figure out where I was supposed to go, and yeah, I think the only thing that guy has is like a scroll that tells you where you need to go. And I always use the dragon sword in this area, not for fighting mainly, but just for getting over gaps, because it has the flying swallow that doesn't have to connect with anything. So I use it quite often. Okay, what you want to do in this fight is drop down. I think that's yeah, I think that was a dynamic chest. But anyways, as soon as you drop to the floor, run back up to the very top, and you can pick these Vangelfs off with the arrows, because they can't jump through that hole where you're at. They try to, but I guess their character model is just too big. So you can take advantage of that. Okay, this next encounter that you'll face is, as soon as you do the wall run there, on this last wall, immediately start doing a ET or UT charge. You should be able to pull off a UT. I always do the 360Y. And always collect the essence from these guys. And you can start the next fight, and then run back. And then you can do ETs and UT bows, but always try to kill the golden Vangelfs with a UT, because they drop 1400 essence. And also be careful of that. It's like I thought I was had there, because both of them were shooting those, and the golden Vangelfs are a lot tougher than the other ones, and they are just absolutely deadly. They can drain your health in just a matter of seconds. And if they pounce on you, you know, it doesn't matter how much health you have, you're just done. I think I looked out and got all of them to fly up there. Sometimes they won't. You'll have maybe one or two on the bottom that'll just get stuck. On the next fight, as you can see, what I did was I jumped in and jumped back out because they will pounce on you, that one that jumps. Just more of the same, ETs, UCs. Usually that XXY combo will de-limb them, but for some reason it wouldn't work because it works wonders on like the ninjas and stuff. What I should have done was had my just regular shurikens out so I could cancel the wall jump thing. Because here I was just kind of blindly just trying to jump around, and I was landing on the wall and stuff, and it was messing my on-landing charges. Using regular shurikens will cause you, I guess, to stop in your tracks while you're in the air. And that helps out a lot, especially if you're in tight places and stuff, and you're trying to hit ETs and UTs. I was cutting it close with these guys. Like one more hit and I would have been dead. That's the way most of these fights will be, probably even in later chapters. If you go to the left, you'll fight some archers. And you can inch up just a little bit to where you can barely see a crack. And you'll see one of them move. Got him with the UT. Now I did find this out. If you take out their legs, they can still shoot you with a bow. So you gotta be careful of that. And I sped this part up because it was just, I was waiting on that guy for too long and it was kind of aggravating me. So I ended up killing him, and there is a Life of the Gods in the chest down below. Now we'll make a cut in the video right there. The reason why I done that for was I was desperately trying to get over there where those archers were at on that pillar, and I could not do it to save my butt. Like I literally probably tried for about 10 minutes and I still never could get up there. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know, it should have been like simple, but I couldn't do it for some reason because I thought that there was a chest up there, but then I realized that there wasn't, so I just cut that part out. That fight's simple, it's just two Vangelfs. Made a cut in the video there. I went back and got restocked up on my arrows. That's something you always want to do. Just make sure you've got a full stock of items with your arrows and your incinerator shurikens. And I think I made the mistake of not picking them up in this one part, because you want to save all your incinerator shurikens for the last fight with the, because you have a gauntlet of golden Vangelfs and regular Vangelfs. Now that chest there can either contain yellow essence or ghost fish. You want the ghost fish. Because like I was saying in previous chapters, if you have ghost fish, let them come out of the chest first and then just charge up a UT because they won't attack not unless you attack. So that's a good way to manipulate the chest. If you get yellow essence, then reload your save and hope to get the ghost fish. And what I was saying before with the incendiary shurikens, if you want to save them at the fight with the golden Vangelis and the regular ones, you can just keep throwing them at them, and 2 of them will kill them outright, and 1 of them will delimb them. Now, what you want to do is you want to immediately take out that archer and then start working on the ice ninjas. I did a poor job about fighting these guys. I lost more health than what I should have, because at this point in the game, you know, you should be able to take out the ice ninjas pretty reasonably, because you know they're all over the place. So I mean, you should be able to get enough practice in on them that they ain't too much of a problem. You got Marimon's shop. I think I look around, but I didn't buy any items. What you want to do is to start the fight, open the door up and jump back down, and just take out the ice ninjas because they'll come at you one at a time. And stay away from that opening with the bars, because archers can still shoot you. So either stay on either the far left or the far right side of it. And I don't see this guy, so I just release my charge and I find out that he is stuck up on the ledge, and then he falls down. And I'm thinking that there's another one up there. Sure enough it was. I think there's all the IS ninjas. I did the 360Y there again just to make sure. I was like, okay, I got those. Now, the cool part about this is after the IS ninjas are dead, then the archers will just come running at you right there where the bars are at, and you can just safely pick them off. Because apparently they won't shoot you anymore, and you just wait until they come over here and just shoot them. That gives you good opportunities to get UTs and get a lot of yellow essence. Now, there is a trick to get the yellow essence to come to you. If it's far away, you can charge whatever weapon you have for a brief moment and it'll drag it to you, but you want to time it correctly to where it doesn't actually absorb it. Okay. Now when you drop here, go behind this fan, and the Vangelis, I don't know, I guess they just forget where you're at. And then you can just charge UT arrow kills. Now sometimes there are 4 of them, Yeah, and you want to be careful because the archers start to. And that spawned the fight there, so. You don't want to go down there yet because you don't want to spawn that fight, so. Okay. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself when I was talking about incinerator shurikens, so. You can get basically an infinitive amount there from that dead body. But what you want to do is, like I was saying before, you want to make sure you're stocked up on all your items, because this is the only place in this chapter that you can get those incinerator shurikens. Like most of the time, whenever you find an item, then Muramasa will sell it, but he doesn't sell those until chapter 4. So you want to make sure before you go to the next area, the point of no return, that you have a full stock of them. I was trying to kill that archer there, but he never came back, so I switched to my incinerator shurikens and I start spamming the crap out of them. I was giving them a little taste of what they gave me. I was low on health, so I used my Nimpo there, taking out those guys, because my ISs wouldn't connect them with them. And I know that there is another IS ninja up there on top, so I couldn't hit him, so I climb up there just hoping that he didn't grab me, and he didn't, but he did. I don't think he stuck me. I think the explosion hit me. So here I was like, oh gosh, here it is, down to the wire. And I knew he was down there, so as soon as I dropped, I threw an IS at him. Fly over there, and I know that there is a grains, a spiritual life there, so I picked it up from there. That was a free one. And I think that chest can contain bats or yellow essence, and I was lucky to get the yellow essence. Like, as soon as I opened it, I happened to remember that. I was like, oh crap. Because, you know, the bats, like with my health, there was no way that I could have killed them. They would have killed me. And normally, since my health was that low, I wouldn't have saved it, because I would try to do better and have more health. But since I had, a lot of healing items, I was like, well, I'm just going to go for it. And I knew I had a lot of yellow essence, and I did use some there. You have IS ninjas here, and then you also have some archers on top. And I did this fight pretty bad, but I managed to get through it. So, because like whenever you're watching a guide that someone has put up, it's almost impossible to copycat them, because things don't always happen the way you plan, and things can get random, because the game is not set on one thing, like one certain situation. You've got to adapt to your settings and things. And I have no idea why that didn't kill me. Like, I got like super lucky. So I kept getting sniped by that dude. So what I meant to do was I was trying to select the bow, and it just I was kind of on cloud 9. I think he hits me one more time though. Yeah, he hits me one more time, but I was lucky enough to hit him before he shot me again. I was trying to drag the essence there because I was hoping that it would give me some blue essence, but it didn't. You can also charge the incendiary shurikens up too. If you do an ET, he throws 2 out. If you do a UT, he'll throw 3 out. Pick up that archer there. And at this point, I was like, man, I'm just so low on health. Just one more hit and I am gone. I think I do get some blue S's here. Yeah. But still, yeah, one more hit and I would have been dead. Like, you know, that didn't even really help me out. I got some Nimpo, so I was like, I'm using this crap. I think I ended up missing. And luckily I caught those guys right there at the corner and I was able to take them out. Because I think since all the other enemies were dead, then they go into their running action. So at this point I was just kind of scanning the area, just checking to see if there's anything else around. Stock up on my incendiary shurikens, and what I should have done was I should have saved them, and I think I actually used a few over in this next area. Yeah, like for instance here, I should have just used the bow, because you can stock up on arrows from this dead body over here, but I didn't. I actually wasn't thinking, because I was worried about this next fight with the bats. There is bats that spawn as soon as you drop down, but I was like, I'm ignoring these guys because, you know, it's not going to benefit me from trying to kill them. Okay, there are more bats here. And what you want to do is you want to just keep pushing YY when you're at the surface, and he'll do a lunge to kill them. But as you can see, they'll still get you. You know, they'll chip away at your health. So I was like, I don't want to do all that other stuff again, so I used the healing item. So I know that they're dead. There's 2 ice ninjas that spawn here, and I was lucky to get a UT off. That's what I like about the 360Y, because you don't actually have to connect with anything. Like, it's UT or ET animation, you know, start, and enemies will just walk into it. I think there's the other weapon that does that is the Karsugama or Karigama or something like that. Karsugama, that's what it is. I don't know. I have a hard time pronouncing that one, but maybe get it in chapter 5. So yeah, I used too many of those. I should have held on to one of my Nimpos and used it on the fight, but at this point, you know, there's no way that you can go back and replenish your incendiary shurikens. So just whatever you do, like whenever you get to this part, try to refrain from using any of your ISs because you want to save them for the last fight before the boss. Now, as soon as you jump over here, one of the Van Gels will spawn. You can jump back, but it seems like I always had a hard time getting back over there. And on this fight, you spawn on and then you run back. Sometimes it is hard to get on that platform, but I lucked out and managed to get back over there. Now, what you want to do is, like I was saying before, with keeping the camera away from them, and they're less aggressive, because if you try to aim the camera at them while you're trying to shoot them, then they will start throwing projectiles at you. So always use that to your advantage. And I made, like in the other two chapters, I cut some of the video where I died, so if you see things like that, then that's what that is. Now, don't open that chest up because it has Nympho in it, or red essence to fill your Nympho gauge up. And I already have 2, so I figured, I was like, well, I'm not going to waste that whole chest just on one. What you want to do here is you want to spawn the enemies, which I was having a hard time doing, and then immediately jump back up where you're at. And you want to kill these Van Gels from up here, because you want to stay away from those spike bugs or pill bugs, whatever you want to call them, because they may be slow, but if they crowd around you, it's like an instant death. You can't get out of it. They like stun lock you, and that's it. And this is a pretty difficult fight with these guys because you're kind of close together, and of course you can't guillotine throw like big enemies like that. So you want to try to chain your essence as much as you can. You don't want to go back too far. If you do, it will despawn some of them, and it will also despawn the bugs. And some of you might think that's a good idea, so you don't have to find them, but the bugs are so slow, and they will give you a ton of yellow essence with their UTs. I mean, you'll have plenty enough time to charge UTs up. It's just that, the enemies are slow and everything, but you don't want to underestimate them. And it's hard to keep your ETs and UTs going, trying to chain those with your yellow essence, because sometimes there's just not enough enemies around you. Like I know here I get lucky and maybe take out 2 at a time, but for the most part it's just only 1 at a time, and it's just such a tight corridor with these guys. It's real easy to get pounced on or get hit or knocked out of a combo. So no, that is all of them. So I was like, okay, there's none around the corner there, so now I'm going down and killing these bugs. And I don't know why I did this for. I was trying to kill them with a bow UT. I guess I was just kind of nervous because I didn't want to screw up and have to do that whole Van Gel fight again. So I was like, well, I'm just going to drop down and just try my best and miss my on landing. At this point, like I was saying, I was a little nervous. Just as you can see, I mean, they're slow, and you have plenty enough time to do a UT charge. What I was doing was I was trying to get away from them as far away from them as I possibly could, and I knew that one was too close, so I said just a standard 360Y attack. But yeah, whatever you do, just try not to despawn these enemies, because I mean they give you a ton of essence from your UTs. I think I have enough to upgrade my lunar staff. I do that because that's my weapon of choice. That's mainly the one that I'll be using the most. There is a few situations where I'll be using the dual katanas. They have a pretty good move that you can do for bosses. And I'll get more into it in Chapter 4. I'll be fighting one of the greater fiends, Alexa. And I will be using like the Talisman of Rebirth on that one, because I will be doing the Test of Valor on it, because it's really easy, and you get a Talisman of Rebirth as a reward for it. And I will be using it on Alexa because in Chapter 5 you get a talisman off of a dead body, and it's not a dynamic, so if you don't pick that up from the dead body, then it's just a waste. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'll talk more about that when I get there. Okay, now when you get to this next part, you'll have archers there, and what I try to do is at least get a UT or an ET to stun him. I'll kill that guy. There's two there, and you want to run over here and spawn the next fight. I mean, you can use the shop if you want, and I thought I had spawned it, but I didn't. So, and I realized that. I was like, okay, they're not going. You'll have more archers and IS ninjas here. So run up there and spawn in a fight. And I'm just trying to get up there, but you should be able to get up there in time to get an AT or UT up there, because they're not very smart when it comes to climbing walls and stuff. And wall running. Just trying to get some blue essence here. I think there may be 4 of these guys. Yeah, so he's not very bright. You can't get up there. Okay, now you want to have your Inferno Nimpo out and take out the archer up on the top left, because he is he's the most problematic. There should be another one spawn up there too. You want to do just a regular arrow shot, stun him, and try to get an ET on there. Okay, so all the archers. Now you see that platform over there that's kind of glowing, but that is where the Test of Valor is located at, the first one, and I decided not to do that one because it contains a lot of mages and IS ninjas, and they're in their undead form, or their dead form, and when they're like that, they can do suicide grabs, you know, without being delimbed or anything like that. So I chose not to mess with those because it's pretty difficult, and it kind of sucks because the reward is lives of 1,000 gods, but I would probably have used every healing item and every item I had just to make it through that, and I didn't have a whole lot of yellow essence after I upgraded my lunar staff, so I was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to do it. Now, when you get here, you want to try to at least get an ET or UT on one of the archers and get in this little train car as quick as you possibly can. I know that's easier said than done, and you can take out the ice hinges, you know, pretty easily this way by doing 360Y. Now, for the most part, if you try to do just a regular ET or UT, then it won't connect. And unfortunately, I get too close to the door and I get knocked out. So I have to fight them the old-fashioned way. Yeah, I got way too close to the door. Like, that shouldn't have happened that way. Anytime you see any archers out, try to focus on them first, because they are more deadly than the rest of them. Try to stun him and get it an ET or UT. Takes care of him, and I go back and save it, and then here's the part where I was telling you to hang on to your incendiary shurikens. Because you have a lot of Vangelfs and golden Vangelfs, and what you want to do here is like you can pull off an ET or UT, but I don't think that I get it. No, because I ended up screwing it up. I did manage to get an ET off though. I don't. But what you want to do is you want to just throw incendiary shurikens at them and try to delimb them. One of them will delimb them, two of them will kill them, and just start chaining the ETs and UTs up that way. And this method works pretty good. If you can, you want to try to, if you can at all, just try to focus on the golden Vangelfs, because, like I said, they're the deadliest. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about too much trying to farm yellow essence from these guys by just collecting their yellow essence instead of using it to chain your ETs and UTs up, because you wanna save as much as you can for, you know, your chaining and stuff. So. And try your best not to use too many healing items, because the boss that's coming up is a real pain in the butt. Like, a lot of people who do this run, you know, Master Ninja run and everything, just absolutely hate this boss because he is so random and broken. Like, he's horrible. He has to be the hardest boss in the whole entire game, and for the wrong reasons too. So you just better hope that you get a good pattern on him. And there was a glitch that happened to me, and I'll show it at the end of the chapter. It was just completely weird, like the screen glitched and it just turned black, and I couldn't see anything. And what sucked is I had to take and restart the game, and I had to do this Vangelf fight again. Because I was hoping he would just have killed me. That way I could have started back out with him. But no, it didn't work out that way, so. I think this fight's almost done. I'm out of incendiary shurikens. I also forgot to mention too, you want to make sure that you have a full stock of arrows. You have to buy them from Miramasa. There is a dead body that has the arrows, but it's always good to have start out with the full set. And I know what's coming up, and after you kill the last Vangelf, then there'll be a cutscene happen. And then you want to immediately charge a UT and hope that you can do quite a bit of damage to him, because it's always random. Like, the hit detection on this with the arrows is BS. And I always try to charge a 360 UT on him. And he has his little fish minions that come after you, and what you really want to do is you want to use your Ninpo to stop the attack on him. He also has his cannons there. As you can see, they just keep coming, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Like, you can actually get him more than halfway down without those things spawning, and it's just random. It sucks. And sometimes when you shoot him in the head, you get more damage, and other times you get less damage. It's just, like I was saying, this boss is just horrible. So he has his fish minions that he throws out, and then when he starts wiggling around like that, then he throws out what's called the Face of Death, and it will chase you all over the place, and it's a one-hit kill. It doesn't matter if you are full health, you're instantly dead. So I ended up using most of my healing items on this guy. Well, yeah, I did use all of them, so I'm completely empty starting chapter 4. So that's gonna be awesome. I do still have my Lives of 1,000 Gods, and I'm gonna try to hang on to it as much as I can. But he goes into OT status pretty easily. Like, he's got probably like maybe an 8th of his health left. So, but all in all, that chapter wasn't too bad besides the boss. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in chapter 4. Thanks for watching.